What I want to do here is to show you how functions and events work. Now, the best way for me to explain a function is to demonstrate how it actually works in our C# script. So what I'm going to do is return back to the player controls script file, which is a script file that we are very familiar with. It instantiates the ammo prefab, it reduces the ammo here. Let's imagine, for example, that what we want to do is we want to print the message "Hello World" 5 times to the console. Well, that's pretty easy. We know how to do that already. Let me just come into the ammo reduction line. Let's say we want it to happen after that line. I could type debug.log and "hello world" like so. And of course, we could use a loop, or I could copy and paste this 5 times like so to create "hello world" message printed 5 times. But of course, the problem with that, let's just press Ctrl S on the keyboard, minimize MonoDevelop, press play on the toolbar, and you'll notice in the console that when I press space, it will say "hello world" 5 times. Now let's just return to MonoDevelop. This works absolutely fine. But now let's say that I wanted to print "hello world" 5 times as well in a different part of the code. Well, I could copy and paste these lines, move down to this "out of ammo" section and paste the 5 lines again in this section. And if I wanted to put it somewhere else, I could come down here and paste it 5 times in this section. And very quickly you can see that we suddenly begin to build up on our code. What would be really great is that if we could group these statements into a single block and then run that block whenever we wanted to print "hello world" 5 times. And this is the kind of behavior that functions allow us to achieve. So what I'm going to do is delete all of these "hello world" statements that I've inserted here, all of these gratuitous "hello world" statements, just get rid of them. And you will see that all of this code that we've already got here for firing our ammunition is already contained inside this block here, which is called late update. This is the late update function. The name of the function is on the first line here, and it says late update. And the code between the opening and closing brackets is the body of the function. What I want to do is create a new function that's going to contain our "hello world" statements. So I'm going to insert a new function. I'm going to begin by typing void. This is known as the return type of the function, and it doesn't have to be void. It can be any other data type that we want, such as int, game object, mono behavior. You'll see that more or less the data types are printed in green in MonoDevelop. I'm going to leave it for now to void, which is the default type for functions. And I'm going to call my functions say "hello world." And now we have to create what's called the argument list. Again, I'm just going to put an empty list, so open and closing parenthesis like that, completely empty. And then I'm going to put an opening and closing bracket. And all the code between these two brackets represent the code that belongs to the say "hello world" function. And I'm going to paste in here the say "hello world" 5 times, like so. So I'm going to paste in our say "hello world" 5 times. Now notice that we've created this code just once, and what we can do now is we can call upon these 5 "hello world" print functions whenever we want, just by referring to them by the function name, which is say "hello world." So I'm going to copy the say "hello world" function like so, Control C to copy that. And if I want to print "hello world" 5 times every time we shoot our ammo, I can just paste the say "hello world" statement there. And if I wanted to print "hello world" 5 times every time we were out of ammo, I could print say "hello world" there. And notice that what happens is that when our script reaches this line, say "hello world," it enters the say "hello world" function and it prints "hello world" 5 times. When it reaches say "hello world" here, it enters the say "hello world" function again and prints "hello world" 5 times. So every time it encounters say "hello world" in this script. It is the equivalent of pasting in these lines of code. So that is how functions can really abbreviate our work. I'm going to press Ctrl S on the keyboard to save this code, minimize MonoDevelop, return back to our Unity editor, press play on the toolbar, and now when I press spacebar to shoot the ammunition, notice it says say hello world, and it does this because it enters the say hello world function. So that's a general overview of how functions work, but we need to consider them in more detail, and we're going to do that next.